it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending tonight's Edinburgh Town Council meeting, Monday, March 23rd, 2026. We'll start with our roll call. Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mrs. Buck. Here. Myself, Miriam Rooks, present. Okay, Mr. Piercefield will be running a little bit late, as well as Mrs. Sweet. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes of council meeting March the 9th of 2026. Are there any, would anyone have any discussion or any amendments or corrections or?
You have any questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 9th, 2026 as presented.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Motion carries. Okay. Next up on the docket is our claims. Mrs. Barrett?
Yes, in your packet, you received a claim docket in the amount of $874,550.01. All claims have been reviewed and signed.
Any questions?
No, I have none.
If there are no questions, I'll make a motion to approve the claims as submitted for $874,550.01.
Okay, I have a first and a second on that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No? Claims approved. Next up on the agenda is the public hearing for additional appropriations. This is a notice to the taxpayers of the proposed additional appropriations. Mr. Huddleston, would you like to add anything to that?
Now, this will be, Ronnie, can you explain the
Ron- Yeah, why don't you explain and then?
Yes, we had received the money from the Hoover Township trustee for the purchase of the ambulance. So we need to have additional appropriations for spending that money. We had received money from Johnson County Health Department for the new playground equipment at the park. So we need appropriations to be able to spend that money. And then there's still like $40,000 in the downtown plaza. And we need appropriations to be able to spend that so we can work on some construction services down there and getting the location ready. So that's what this is about.
And you had actually brought this up at our last meeting,
Yeah.
telling us in your notes.
That it would be.
Okay.
Yes, we-
So we will go ahead and open up the hearing, correct? If anyone is here that would like to speak, we ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay. Being there are none, then we'll go ahead and close that public hearing. And we'll move on to the next item, which is related. It's actually Resolution 2026-5, the additional appropriation. Mrs. Barrett has just explained to us what this in fact was, so if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion for that resolution.
Any questions?
You have any questions?
No.
Mhm.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-5 for additional appropriations.
Second.
You have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up on the agenda is the ordinance number 2026-04. Mrs. Barrett.
Yes, at the last meeting, we had the first reading of the establishing salaries, where we were updating the salary ordinance to include the new position for the line locator. That pay range has been changed to reflect the $18 to $27. And also, when Emily and I were at a recent conference, we were made aware that any salaries that are paid from multiple departments need to reflect that on our salary ordinance. So I added those splits on the salary ordinance. So This is a second reading for, all the updates that I know of have been made, so it's ready for your approval if you wish.
Okay, okay. I was glad to see that one. You're very good about that in your reporting and your notes. And, but besides that utility position, you just added all that in since you were doing it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just updated it with that information as well.
Okay.
No changes to the pay, just the
No,
wording.
no, just it needed to
Yeah.
show how the pays are split
How it's
between
split.
multiple departments. So,
That means you're paying attention at your conferences.
stayed awake that day.
We see that part, huh?
Yep.
We are now joined by Council President Mr. Pierceville, and the arrival time is 6:05. 6:05.
Thank you. So we are
We
still
need a
on
motion.
ordinance.
Yes, we will get into
We'll
it.
start that on the last one.
Okay, okay. Anybody else have any just questions for Mrs. Barrett in reference to this discussion?
No.
Ryan, you have anything, sir? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion then for the approval of ordinance number 2026-04.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-04, amending establishing the salaries for the meter read, and then rewording the clerk treasurer percentage where the money's coming from.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries. And we'll move on then with Mr. Pierceville.
All right, the police merit board bylaws discussion. Obviously, we brought this up. There were some changes that wanted to be made in this. I think it was to the 10 years, I think was one of the stipulations. I don't know whether any others on that. I think that was the one that stuck out the most. Is there anything else on their council that you felt like needed some amending? Now, again, after a little bit of investigation from Mr. Huddleston, it turns out that we actually do not make this decision.
Yeah,
This
this
is a
is
decision that's made by the merit board.
correct. This was always a recommendation of approval. We wanted to send that to you first since this is a new. So it should just be a recommendation of approval.
I wanted that.
So we were basically looking for just not necessarily an approval, but just some fine tuning of it. So if everybody's good with that, we could, I guess, make it as a recommendation.
Vote to
Motion as a
recommend.
recommendation.
I'll make a recommendation to, if there isn't any other discussion, I apologize. Okay. I'll make a recommendation to move on then with the police merit board bylines as rules and procedures as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're on to the Baker Tilly Electric, Water, and Wastewater Financial Reports, Scope Report.
Yes, this is where they do the annual financial reports for the 3 utilities. It just needs the okay to, me to sign off on that.
Take a motion for that.
Yeah, and is there any other, Ryan's signature, right?
Ryan or I can sign it. Typically, I think I
Oh,
sign
okay.
it. so.
If there are no questions or any need for discussion, I'll make a motion then to approve the Baker Tilly Electric, Water, and Wastewater Financial Report, scope of work as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for Rhonda to sign, is that correct?
Yep.
Motion for Mrs. Barrett to sign the financial report as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rooney and Company Medicaid cost report engagement letter, Ms. Garrett.
Okay, you should have received in your packet the engagement letter. We have worked with Rooney and Company since 2013, and during that time, they have helped us receive $122,794 in supplemental payments for Medicaid. So they're estimating to receive another $15,000 for the 2025 supplemental payments. So this needs approval to accept this agreement, and for Ryan to sign. They charge 25%, so 25% of the 15,000 is $3,750.
Mhm.
So,
That could potentially be more because those numbers are not exactly accurate,
Right.
I would think, because prior to 2023, we did not have any LSA funds. So what we can collect off of, which doesn't, I think this was something here, but the higher medical care that we can provide to patients is also what can be more reimbursed for from Medicaid. So there is certain amounts for basic life support and advanced life support, so I anticipate that number to be higher based off the care that we provide.
yeah, and I believe it's 25% with a max of 4,000
Yes,
is all that
yes.
she would
So I was
charge.
gonna ask, is that max?
Yeah, 4,000 is the max.
And we're actually approving, Rhonda, this is per se an actual contract?
Yes, the engagement letter for her to start the process to collect those funds,
Okay.
and we don't pay her until we receive the funds.
Right, that's what, I think that's what you were. Yeah. There are no other questions or discussions? Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the Rooney and Company Medicaid cost report engagement letter as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for Council President Piercefield to sign off on the Rooney and Company Medicaid cost report engagement letter.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the Park and Rec baseball sponsorship and donations.
Yes, the Park and Rec has received $1,950 in sponsorship donations and promises. We have like we haven't actually received the check yet, but we've received that it's in the process. So the three sponsors are Fletcher Chrysler, the American Legion, and Ditech. So just need approval to accept those donations and accept them as sponsors of the ball team.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the annual conflict of interest forms, I was running late, so I still don't have mine
I don't have mine either.
to submit yet. Yeah, I just, as you can tell, 5 minutes after, so, and I think Sherry had one.
Yes, Sherry had one.
Hers is here.
She has no conflict, but it still needs approved,
Let's
so.
go ahead and approve that one.
We can go ahead and take care of that.
Right.
Motion to approve the conflict of interest form for Mrs. Sweet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ERC 2025 annual report.
Yes, annually, the ERC is required to report to the council what their expenditures and plans were for 2025. They approved the report at tonight's meeting prior to this. And so this is just for informational purposes only, to present it to the council. You received a copy of it in your packet, so this is just for informational purposes only. There's also the TIP management report that is part of that Scott will present on as well, so.
All right, Scott, the 2025 TIF management report, this is from Baker Tilly.
Sure. And council, let me steal your station fire report. So as you all know, annually, the redevelopment commission is required to prepare, we call it a 415 report, an April 15th TIP report that looks at the prior year financials for the TIP district. So this has been prepared to you and reviewed by Rhonda on this 2025, the 2025 data. So here, and I'll kind of make this a little bigger for you to all see. Here's kind of just an outline, and this is very similar to the reports that we've seen in the past, so I'll go through this relatively quickly. RDC reporting requirements. So by April 1st, we have the fiscal plan that's due, and it's prepared by the clerk treasurer and presented to the RDC. What we have tonight is the TIP management report, again by April 15th. This has to be filed. Rhonda, I think you've already actually filed the report, or it's ready for you to file.
It's ready for me.
Ready to file in Gateway. This is I think the second year that this report actually has to be presented to council, which is why we're here presenting it in front of you. It is a statutory requirement now. In June, we'll talk about the pass-through determinations. This is if there's any TIF money that you're going to pass through to the overlapping units, whether that be the school district or the library. Typically, Edinburgh hasn't done that, so you still have to present that you are not passing through any TIF assessed value, but we'll work on those in June. The TIF neutralizations, this is where we look at the base AV, which is the original AV of the TIF district, neutralize any trending activity that's happened over the last year to adjust the base assessed value. That way we're just capturing the actual incremental value, the new development and not trending values. Then we have the RDC annual spending plan, which is relatively new again, beginning in 2024. The RDC must present a spending plan, and any expenditures from the TIF funds have to fall in line with that spending plan. The spending plan has been in place for the town of Edinburgh, but there haven't been any expenditures from the TIF because the TIF is just now starting to collect funds. So this will become more important as funds are collected and actual expenditures are made for these funds. And then we also have the RDC annual presentation to tax the units on an annual basis. Just a quick refresher on how tax increment finance works. It does capture new assessed value and property taxes from new development within that allocation area. So this chart here shows the gray bar down at the bottom shows what the base AV is. So before the TIF district is put into place, the gray box is what the assessed value was prior to TIF. The green area, the little triangle there, is going to show any assessed value that is new since the TIF district has been put into place. So if you had a base AV of about $100,000, say, just for round numbers, if you had a $100,000 base AV, and then you have someone come in and build a development that's another $100,000, the TIF is only going to collect on the additional $100,000. So all of the additional development is going to go directly to the RDC and the TIF funds. All of the base AV still gets distributed to all of the different taxing units. So at the end of the 25-year lifespan, which again is only based on the issuance of debt. So right now, Edinburgh's TIF districts do not have an expiration date because there's no debt issued. But if debt is issued, it would expire 25 years after that debt issuance. That's where the red box on the right comes into play. So after the TIF expires, all of that assessed value that's been collected by the RDC then goes to all of the overlapping taxing districts. So the AV will jump for all of those units, the county, the library, any other overlapping taxing districts. That's when all of that AV gets put to them, and they'll get a big jump in their AV. But the RDC will then quit collecting those TIF dollars. Purpose of TIF, to finance incentives or infrastructure needed to induce private investment. So if you have a developer that wants to come to town, but there's things that they can't afford to put in, whether that's infrastructure, roads, water, you can use those TIF dollars as leverage to get them to put in that development. And you can fund those developments either all or partially or through financing, through debt issuance with those TIF funds. It also encourages orderly economic growth in targeted areas. That's why there's the allocation areas, the TIF districts as we call them. You want to make sure that you're targeting those specific areas for the development that you're bringing into town. It can also help redevelop blighted areas as well in the same manner. So this gets into the actual report, the 415 report. The beginning of that is just your redevelopment commission members for 2025. In 2025, Matt Irvin was the president, Karen Fitzpatrick was the vice president, Kay Abram was the secretary, and Debbie Vaughn, Sarah Beth Trybread, and Ryan Baker were members. And there were no employees of the redevelopment commission. There are 4 TIF allocation areas in Edinburgh. You have the Center Cross Street allocation area, which is along the 252 corridor. You have the downtown development area. This is the second time I've given this presentation and the second time that a train has come by. The downtown development allocation area is the downtown district with a few surrounding parcels there as well. The I-65 allocation area is in Shelby County over right off of the interstate. And the US 31 allocation area is in the industrial area up through kind of the JC area and the Central Bank CVS, that area as well. So for the finances for 2025, the total revenues for each one of the districts are listed here. So for the Center Cross and the downtown development, this is the first year that they've had any revenues come in. So Center Cross brought in about $2,000 in revenue, downtown development about $5,200. I-65 has not had any development to date, so it hasn't brought in any funds. And the US 31 allocation area is finally starting to generate some significant income. It has about $72,000 received in 2025. There were no redevelopment commission expenditures, so then there was also no grants and loans, and there was no TIP distributed to other units. This slide shows the fund balances as of 12/31/2025. As I mentioned, I-65 hasn't had anything, so you won't see that one listed here because it has a 0 fund balance. Center Cross and downtown development essentially have the balance of the revenues that they brought in 2025. The US 31 allocation area now has $232,000. Based on our estimates for 2026, Rhonda, I never did go back and look at those actual estimates, but I would expect that you should have over $300,000 by the end of 2026, probably more than that.
Scott, do we share those two districts with Swarthmore County, like the taxing in those areas? So do they be in the county tax?
No, so the county would be an overlapping taxing district. So the county would not get any of the incremental value. So any new development, that AV goes directly to the RDC. Yeah. So they're still getting the taxes on the base AV that was there prior to the TIF.
Split part, or is that just if there's on?
No, that's all units get that portion. So the base AV is the calculation is based on all of the other property taxes. So you have your county, your school, your libraries, the town, solid waste management districts. Those property taxes are going to be broken out to each one of those different units based on the levy that they have. But again, once there's new development, that's where this TIF captures those funds and brings them directly to the RDC to use for redevelopment purposes.
Scott, can you clarify again how far south does the 31 district go?
Or south to the edge of, I don't think it goes all the way down to the fire station. I know it goes down, what's the road? Maybe it does. It might be the road that the fire station's on. It might be 900 in that area. I'm not exactly sure. There is a map and a resolution that I can pull to you, but it's in that general area. I want to say it goes all the way to the edge of town. As I mentioned, there's been no debt issuance, so there isn't no debt payments. None of these are a housing TIF, so none of this portion of the report applies, and we have no additional notes this year. So that's the end of that report. Happy to answer any questions that any of you may have. Other than that, we've met the statutory requirement. The report is in Gateway, completed, just ready for Rhonda's review. I think she's already reviewed Rhonda's submission. So we meet that deadline as well.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott, council?
No, great job, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The reestablishment of the community capital development fund discussion.
Yes, the Community Capital Development Fund is a rate-driven fund, and the max that we can collect is 0.05 per $100 of assessed value. Currently, our rate is 0.023. If we reestablish it and bring it up to 0.05, it will stay 0.05. We would never have to raise it again. We are estimated this year to receive about $36,000. at the .023. So if we reestablish it to the .05, then that could mean a potential additional $36,000 this year. And then, it would be .05 every year from that point forward. So I had sent you guys a timeline. We have a deadline of May 31st if we want to do this. And Scott worked with me on a timeline for what we need to do there. It requires a public hearing, advertising, and a 30-day period for remonstrators to, voice any concerns that they would have. So I just thought, if we could up it, it could give us just a little extra to, it's not going to meet anything like the SB1, but it would be just a little additional bump. Those funds a lot of times are used for capital improvements. We've used them for a lot of our IT stuff, but website hosting, where we donate or where we join with the Bartholomew County Economic Development, the membership into that. So it would just be nice to have a little extra. So if this is something that you guys want to move forward with, then Scott can get started on the process to get this going, to get it done before the deadline. Scott, if you've got anything to add, I kind of.
Not necessarily, completely up to council, I believe, prior to when I was the treasurer, I believe they was established at .05. What happened then was as your AV grew, the rate would decline, just based on the way the math works. They've since changed that, so I don't know why they changed it, but once that rate is established now, it doesn't decrease because of AV increases. As long as you adopt the rate that you want, you will get that rate. So you could always adopt that lower rate if you wanted to, but .05 is the max you can do. And that's obviously at about half of that right now. It's not a ton of extra money that will come in, but it is something. The term cumulative capital development is a little misleading. I think originally that was kind of the intent, was that it would be used for capital. But the restrictions on that have been lightened up, and we can use it for operating unit, we have 50,000 for use for operating. Like we can use it kind of for operating with services and services.
I have one. Make a decision. Ron, you have anything else to add?
No, it's up to you guys if you want to pursue this or if not, then.
That's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we approve this tonight according to your timeline,
Mhm.
then Baker Scott goes ahead and get started on it
Mhm.
Friday.
It would be a pretty quick turnaround because we have to get that to the papers.
You've got first publication on Wednesday, April 1st, so
I think how long do you have to get the papers?
supposed to get on 48. It would be nice to get it to them on the 27th.
It's not a complicated process, it won't take very long, so it can be turned around relatively quickly. There's templates for the only thing that makes it a little more difficult for everyone to take is that it is 3 counties. So the launch terms is a little different because the launch terms is different.
Any other discussion?
No, I mean, if we approved it once.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion then for the reestablishment of the cumulative capital development fund, as we just discussed with Mrs. Barrett, to a max rate of 0.0500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will work on that tomorrow. We'll get it to you.
Thank you.
And get you that.
Thank you, Scott. That timeline was, yeah, that was helpful.
Okay. All right, John, the pay discussion for employees responding to storm emergencies.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you guys recall, on March 15th, we had some high winds come through. We had a tree knocked down at Irwin Park that destroyed a shelter house, and we had some other trees down around the town, but we also had some power outages that required all employees of the electric department to come in. One employee was on vacation that week, took 2 or 3 days off. Under our current policy is that if they're not, don't work a full week and they come in, they just get straight time. But due to him being called in, because it required all the employees from the electric department, I'd like to see him get his time and a half. My understanding, this was done once before, back in 2022.
Is there something we could draft where this doesn't have to be done every single time there's an event? Because it seems like if this is kind of perpetual, where this gets us in a problem where we have to come in front of the council, and it shouldn't be, and I don't want it to be a deterrent to have specialized training, not wanting to come in because they're afraid they're not going to get the compensation that they should. Is there something we could draft that would?
I would think so, like a
Special
emergencies.
special exception.
Yeah, I
within
mean, if it's an act of God, so to speak, and we can't control it, and we can't punish somebody for coming and doing their job by giving them just straight time. I don't agree with that. I never agree with that.
Yeah, because the way we were worded it before, it was just the one time.
Yeah.
Whereas if we go ahead and have
Yeah.
something in writing,
And I know in the past, I can't speak for all departments, because they're not all here, but it was a concern that get their employees, and when they were off, and it's not, you can't punish them. Don't feel like it's right to punish them or people taking vacation. So,
This employee was an essential employee.
Yeah,
He lineman. He
line-
wasn't a groundsman or anything, this was an actual lineman. So
and I think it can work for any of them. I mean, I don't expect linemen to work on Bill's underground water. So I think it's a situation, but I think we need to have something.
So does it mainly just happen when someone's on vacation and then they have to be called in and then,
Yeah.
could we just make something to where vacation counts toward overtime?
I would just, in the resolution, you guys can consider it was town manager, the ability to grant this on a case-by-case basis.
That's a good idea.
gives John the permission.
This every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
With that, you want to have that,
Yeah. And I'll present it to you as you look at it. And
so we can, let's approve this one for this case, and then, I guess we can do two, and then, so we'll make a motion to approve this circumstance, and then allow another one to allow Dustin to draft the policy.
For future. So, are there any, you have any questions, Mr. Brian did? I'll make a motion then to go ahead and approve the, all the hours worked at the, time and a half for the, referenced employee, in the emergency situation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you, John. And I'll make a motion also for council attorney Dustin Huddleston to draft the new, an amendment, is that correct, Dustin? Resolution in reference to the time and a half hours for special exception for the emergency situations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Bill, the 2026 Chevrolet truck purchase approval.
Who's speaking?
Oh,
Kevin.
Kelly. Okay, this is for the, Joey.
Yeah, this is for the locate position that we created. We hired a guy, or we offered a position to a guy today, and he accepted, so he's going to get to his background drug testing, and returning with 2 weeks notice and starting about 3 weeks, I'm assuming. The truck, from what I understood, Kevin took care of all this, but he couldn't be here tonight because he's on shift. So he asked me if I would present. He got 3 quotes from Country Chevrolet, North Vernon, Kelly Chevrolet, and I think Fort Wayne and Hubler, I'm assuming Franklin. But Country Chevrolet, this was the 35,900. Yeah, 35,900 was the cheap quote. Takes them about 30 days to get the truck in. So just wanted to see if we could get approved to purchase that vehicle for our new locator.
That looks like he's recommending that Country Chevrolet purchase with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, he went through the quotes and we
Yeah.
looked and they're pretty comparable. If we want to add stuff, it's going to cost more regardless. So we can get the truck we need and then we can do what we need if we need to do it.
We're gonna be repetitive here, Rhonda, but that is all, let's share it again.
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase for the all the utility positions for the Country Chevrolet, purchase of the vehicle for $35,900.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Bill, the Boss Line locating software purchase approval.
So this one here, it's the 6,200 total for the first initial start for the $1,200 one-time information fee. I don't know anything about this. Kevin's the one that knows all about it. This is what we need to do, he says. So, but it's for 6,200 to start, and then after that, every year it'll be, what was it, $5,000? Yeah.
This is what he brought up at the last. in his
Yeah, and
initial
it's
proposal.
just the software to be able to record all pictures, get all the information that gets put in. I mean, there's quite a bit going into a locate when it comes to computers and tracking all of it. So just for our security, this is what we need. So he's asking for this Boss 911 quote. And I guess if you approve it, then I'll need a signature of either Ryan or John. I don't know if you guys saw what was there, because it's not very much, but it's just it's a software, so it's cancelable every year. So that's it.
Okay, there are no questions or discussion. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Boss Line locating software purchase in the amount of $6,200.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Looking forward to getting it.
Okay, Sarah Beth, the website quotes, please.
Yes, good evening, council. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, talked about Emily and Rhonda and I have been meeting with potential website providers. Core, who we currently utilize, is they are no longer going to be in operation by the end of the year. So they sent out a note actually before the end of last year to let everyone know so that we could have ample time to prepare to get a new website host. So the three of us have spent the last few weeks meeting with different providers, and we've had 1 to 2 Zoom meetings with each of them. Emily's even had a few more to talk about agenda builder and meeting management software that's included. So in your packet, I tried to get it as much of apples to apples as possible, but as you can imagine, through all these providers, there's different add-ons and different ones include things. So it's just, it's pretty robust. So you have 3 different quotes, and then I tried to do a one-sheeter, but it ended up being a 3-sheeter of the vendor estimates, and to try to get as much apples to apples as possible. The main things that we wanted to prioritize that we have to have. So if you see anywhere where it says WCAG, that is the Web Content Access Guidelines. So we are required by law to provide accessibility for anyone. So whether it's hearing or vision or dyslexia, anything like that, those are required. And so some providers have an add-on, some of them include, but they don't include to the capacity that we need. So I can go through as detailed as you would like, but I did include all 3 quotes and then kind of a cost comparison. So after talking to all of these companies, and then we also spoken to neighboring municipalities, we have some neighboring municipalities that also use CORE that are going through the same process. So we talked to them, we've talked to our neighbors and the different hosts that they use, and the consensus has been many of them that are changing from CORE are going to Revise. We really liked Revise. We liked the back end management. So as users, it seems very user friendly. So, and I'll let Emily add on anything in there. It was definitely the most cost effective. Several of our local municipalities are using it, and every 4 years they offer a totally free redesign of the website, where most providers are offering at least some minimal cost for a redesign, but we know every 4 years we can have a really nice refresh. So yeah, you've got all those numbers in front of you. We would recommend going with Revise. That first year, first year project cost is going to be $17,300, and then annually after that, it is going to be $7,950, and that's the base that they include plus the YCAG that is needed for accessibility. So Emily, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to add on.
For the Revise, that cost also includes an agenda builder app as well.
And who we currently use?
It's called CORE.
CORE.
CORE, yes.
Are we losing anything from that we have before that? we don't
No,
have
we're
with Revise?
actually gaining, and some of the features that we really liked were they even have capability on there where folks can go in and click on a notify me app. So people can go in and click on notify me when there's town council meetings, and they'll get a text message that lets them know. There's 100 add-ons for each of these, but those were some of the built-in that were really nice to have. Some of the other accessibility was part of that were really nice. And just the user interface seemed to be a lot easier than definitely currently what we're using. And it's just, yeah, of course, we got that about 5-6 years ago. So
What do we currently pay now?
Currently now with CORE, we pay $3,500 a year.
So we're going to go up a couple $1,000.
To 79.50
yeah, to $79.50. Yeah.
from 39.
Yeah, it's
So
just more than over that.
Yeah, it's the 79, it's the 55 days. I
79.50,
apologize,
yeah.
the 55 days.
Now, the others, as you can see, especially on Civic Plus, they have an entire list of add-ons. And once you start going through, I think I even just stopped adding at one point because it was going to be over $10,000 a year. Revise also has some capacity for maybe even our Parks Department being able to utilize it for facility rentals and things. So we might be able to get away from some of what we're using with the Park and Rec, with MyTrack and our RecTrack. And it's a little bit of a cumbersome software to use. So I know we would like if we could get away from that and be able to utilize it maybe just through our website. So there's some different cost savings because I know that's almost $10,000 a year that is spent on RecTrack, and it's a lot. So but yeah, if we can do away with something like that and utilize the website, that would be huge help. Yeah, the only other one that would probably be cheaper than Revise that we looked into was actually the state provides website hosting, and it's what most of your health departments or just kind of your state departments are. It's very, very basic, so it just wouldn't be the best pizzazz, wouldn't be the best seller for our community. And, looking at businesses and residents, our website is really our digital homepage for marketing and promoting our community. So we want to make sure that it looks as good as possible.
And Rhonda, were you guys aware of this last year, right? You brought it to us.
It was, I think they sent the notice maybe November of last year that this was going to be coming. And so they give us ample time.
Budget-wise,
Yeah,
we're going to go with, it's not any big surprise that this was going to take this a jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, because what was the one thing, the SCA? accessibility thing.
Oh,
I believe that is a requirement now, that our pages, our website needs to be ADA accessible.
Yeah,
Oh,
And so that was an additional, what,
2,400.
2,400. So,
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, we would like to, it's going to take probably, we're looking at about a 6-month process to get everything all wrapped up, so we wanted to get going as soon as possible. So do we need a motion tonight to,
to choose which website to go with.
Make a motion to go with revise as staff recommended. Seems like it would be the one to go with, just the cost of what they provide and after 4 years and revitalizing the website and the compliance with.
Yeah.
So I would make a recommendation for revise.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you, Council.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For everybody working on that.
All right, Jacoby Tunes and Lands contract with Julie.
Yes, sir. Thank you. If you'll recall, we have this contract as our backup inspectors. However, from October through February, they served as our primary inspectors. So I'm bringing this contract amendment before you tonight because we have reached our not to exceed amount on this contract. So I'd like to still have them under contract to serve as our backups, but simply adding more funding on this contract. So that's why you have a revised exhibit in there that adds more funding to those jobs that they do for us. So that's the-
More services.
Yeah, we have ESI, Chris, who's now doing inspections for us daily and has a monthly rate for us. So they are going, this company is now going back to our backup position. So this amendment is simply putting more funding in the contract. Nothing else in the contract has changed.
I think I propose,
Same line.
It's the exact same contract you developed. Only thing that changed was the exhibit with the funding in it.
I already talked with you previously about it, Julie.
Yes. So if you would approve, yeah, it would be for Ryan to sign, and if you would like us to review it, but it's his contract.
I'm good with it. I'll make a motion then to approve the Jacoby Tunes and Lands contract as presented by Julie.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve Council President Ryan Hirschfeld to sign off on the Jacoby Tunes and Lands contract as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, council.
You got it.
Well, Daniel sends his regret that he's not here to talk insurance again with everyone. Got a school board meeting tonight. So I will answer as many questions as I can. I know John has been part of all of these conversations as well. One thing that's come up of another reason why we're looking at this tiered system is if you haven't been made aware yet, so the community center has a floor issue and it has to, some carpet has to be replaced in it. And the provider, Burton's Flooring, doesn't have the adequate, or at least doesn't have the requirement that we're currently asking for someone to come in and replace some of the carpet in there. So we did reach out to Charlie with Gregory Appel and sent him what Burton's Flooring does have. And so I don't know if you've seen, have you seen Charlie's email? Was that sent to you? I don't believe so. I haven't seen, okay. So Charlie basically said, outside of not having umbrella to the tort limit, Burton Flooring does have the workers' comp, auto, and the CGL limits of 1 million. And he says, I do agree that this is a low risk and a single limit of the CGL policy exceeds the single tort limit of $750K. So he does say, in his opinion, he does not think it's likely that we would have multiple injuries from one carpet installation. And so he agreed with, moving forward, but to not at the extent that we are currently requiring. So that was another example of why we brought the tiered approach to the council.
And, do I understand this right, Sir Beth John? Would you be instrumental in basically categorizing, even though we're
Yes.
told, we've been given a list of the different tiers,
Yeah.
that we would primarily,
We have another issue, the cemetery for spraying. One contractor said it's not worth it because of our insurance that we require. They don't have that. It wouldn't be cost effective for them to get that insurance just to spray the cemetery. Another one's waiting to find out what we do on this before they'll bid.
I think after speaking with counsel or legal counsel, it seems that this would be better suited as a guideline, but ultimately, council would remain the oversight of the contracts, because there could be a lot of interpretation as to what tier it falls into. So it would be, as Dustin alluded to, be a great guideline to jump from, but not still have council oversight of that, just because, it could open us up the liability in the event that it's miscategorized. That kind of.
Yeah, and also, just like Sarah Beth did, I recommend it would be a guideline, but also consult with the insurance agent on a
Absolutely.
case-by-case basis. So I just wouldn't, because there, as far as the categories, there's always going to be something that maybe what category it fits. So that's what I would
Right.
recommend, that you pass this as a guideline, which will help you guys soliciting quotes and all that. But definitely have the due diligence on each case-by-case.
Right. Everything would run through the insurance company.
Correct.
Any kind of agreement or anything would be run through you.
Thanks.
how do we motion that one? Do you have that?
Well, the draft that is presented is acceptable, you would make a motion to approve as a tiered insurance guideline that the towns consider.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, council.
You're welcome.
Mike, Kevin? Kevin?
No.
I have nothing to read.
One thing we would like to discuss is that kind of our social media policy. It seems, I thought we had, or there was one person that was taking care of social media, but it seems that that's not exactly accurate. It seems like there's multiple departments that are posting. That again kind of subjects us to some kind of liability or scrutiny. So I would kind of like to revisit that policy. Dustin and I spoke about this. Because they're all representing the town. It doesn't matter if it's the golf course or the street department or the fire department. When they put something on social media, it's a representation of the town. And if we don't know who that is, and we don't know who's putting it on there, it seems that it's a liability. So I thought we addressed this a few years ago, but it seems
We
that
did.
it's back again. So I don't know, John, if you want to look into that policy and find out who these people are. I know Sarah Beth, I think you kind of had the keys to it.
Sarah Beth and Ron,
Yeah,
guys?
we created one. Is this coming from town accounts or just as town employees posting? Or
Gosh,
both?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that it's representing the town of Edinburgh. So whether it's even a personal account that somebody's set up on their own, but their name is
Oh, yeah,
the whatever,
yeah.
then it still is a reflection. So I don't know how we can, I don't know if we just got them loose and it kind of came back again. I think all intentions are good, but it somehow kind of backfires. So I don't know, we need to look at that again, figure out where they're coming from. And it's just, let's know where it starts and where it ends and all points in between. So again, that has been discussed before, but I think we've gotten a little off into the woods on that. So if you could look into that for us, I think it was great. Anything else?
No, sir.
Rhonda?
No, I did get somebody hired for Gretchen's position, and she will start tomorrow.
Oh, great.
John?
No, sir.
Chief Lon? John, anything? Bill?
Yeah, trying to find this water leak I've got going on. I pumped 650 one day and 1,000,000 the next, 700 the next, 950 the next. It's kicking me till I can't find it. So there's a company that's coming in to do a study, a 12-week study for, originally started at 7,500 and dropped it to 5,000. So they're going to fax listening devices for 25 different fire hydrants throughout town. Most of the board uses them, several people use them in Indiana, they really like it, it's finding the length of time. So we're gonna do a 12-week study and determine if we like it. Yeah, hopefully find this leak. I just want to get you aware of that. We worked on the water towers, both towers, getting the wiring and stuff in, waiting on the material, the actual mixer itself to be put into them. The fire hydrants landed this week, so they should be able to start in the next couple of weeks getting that 10 fire hydrants and valves in the ground for us. And then, other than that, summertime starting in the golf course. We got a meeting next Friday with the golf course for the last part, the pre-con meeting. So it'll be fun coming there too.
And you've got water manual all to it too.
Yeah, and they're starting April 1st for 252, it'll be shut down from Eisenhower to Pleasant Street for 60 days. Eisenhower and 252 will be shut down at the bridge for up to 10 days, starting on April 1st. So until they get across the intersection, so it's going to be, I'm sure I'm feeling John Thunder there.
Nope, you
It's
got
gonna
it.
be- A lot of people are gonna come off the interstate, go to Atterbury, and when they get to Pleasant, they're gonna go south and then east or west again, and when they get to Eisenhower, they're gonna be lost. They're gonna have to go south to get on 31 and come back north, because the bridge, we cannot get across the bridge for 10 minutes.
Starting April 1st.
Starting April 1st, so that's not good.
30th,
March.
March
I'm
30th.
not-
March 30th.
Yeah, he said April 1st, so whatever. So March 30th, April 1st, hopefully, they're gonna, 60 days, they say they're gonna get it done from Pleasant Street to Eisenhower to Albany. And then they'll start from Pleasant Street and go around to just across the railroad track. And then they'll start from there and go around the lake. So there'll be 3 different phases, and they told me they were gonna get it all done this year, but we'll see how happens when it comes January next year.
Did we ever
Look
come
forward
with
to a lot of traffic and a lot of road closures and a lot of mad people calling.
did we ever come up with a resolution for AT&T? I know that they did not want to go underground. Did they end up going underground?
Yes.
They did.
They were last one to the party, and they took all the costs off the poles this last week, so the poles are getting ready to come down, so let the party get them out of the way, and, everything done, but everybody finally went underground.
The amazing thing is all the fiber, everything's underground, but yet we're gonna dig it all up again. We're
We're gonna
gonna
be
dig,
around it.
we're gonna dig it up again. And our infrastructure's in there, and we know what it was like the first time as we were out there fixing the leak. So I'm fully anticipating interruptions of services. It's just the nature of the beast.
It's
So,
gonna be fun, because, I mean, you don't know what they're putting around, and they never talk about it. I mean, I've been here for 23 years, and I still find water lines that we have no idea. It's like North Main, got 12-inch main that runs all the way up there, and on the west side of North Main, from 252 north, is run off a 1-inch service for years. And I found it, and we ended up changing them all over to that 12-inch main, but we never did figure out where that was hooked at to, what service was. I'm sure they're gonna find us some
an interesting thought.
Council Hindenburg uses Ziptony, which is a platform-based website that an application that they can put all their information in. So as they do this stuff, they can keep a log for history. It's very good, it's very beneficial. So,
It's a lot better than paper man.
yeah.
They're in the cloud now.
Yeah. we have it.
I know paper man, when I started with, we're all rolled up and grinkled, you can't read them now. We're still making changes in the GIF and weekly and monthly. Just moving things and setting where they go. That's it. It's a good thing to have.
Thank you, Bill. John?
Bill said it all. We're going to put radar signs on Wind Drive. And, Eastman Cross.
It would be nice if NDOT would push traffic north and keep it out of town. I don't know how we could push that. I know that when Clark was here, Clark, when we sat down and talked about that, is traffic's gonna come in, because it's just gonna turn into a mess. It's all the folks from Mountberry and things like that, try to get them north on 800, which is out of Lynn Drive, go northbound, go back, west on 650 to get to 31, because that's not gonna be touched, and it's not gonna change every 10 days, 30 days, 45 days. It's still gonna be a problem. I mean, we put all that signage up, and we still have a problem with Timbergate, but if we can try to get, not push that out and not put out a sign that's this big, that you're trying to read at 70 miles an hour, so turn left here, I think that will help us. All we can do is post as much information out as soon as possible, but
Do we have to contact their phone? If they want to do it, then we will.
I think if we push it north, we'll be better off in the long run.
I'm going to ride to their Glen Drive and
We established, when I was in from the street department, we established the local detour. And it's local only, and that's Lynn Drive, the East Main Cross, the Kyle, the county line, the Eisenhower, back to 31. So the state saying we're the ones that put the detours up for that, like I told Sean. We put the sign there on Lynn Drive next to your dad's house, how many times did they run it over and knock it over? They're barricaded, timber gates, keep semis, dump truck out there, how many tickets did you get? Because they don't care, they don't think, oh, I didn't know that was for me. You know, it's gonna be a year and a half of, yeah.
Well, we don't want the traffic, 20 mile an hour school zone either. So let's reach out to the NDOT, let's see if they can make any concessions for us. If not, then we'll get aggressive and we'll try to push them up there.
We can well, we had to do that so we can go out and take video pictures of Lynn Drive, East Main Cross. So when it's down and over, if there's any damage, we'll come back and fix it. But I think we can put the signs out there and point it north.
Yeah.
Because Sean and I talked about that today, about semis, and there's not enough room for semis, but dump trucks can go north on that road and turn at 650.
And we know semis can make it because the grain trucks do all the time.
Yeah.
The right one goes that way.
If you have an interstate closure, do
Oh, yeah.
The police officer at that intersection, making those.
Well, we need to see if NDOT will work with us on 65. I don't know if that's even getting on Google Maps and putting it on there as an issue. But,
They have signage out there for Taylorsville access on that part. But this, what they're talking about is just for local traffic. It's in the drive, this main cross.
Well, in reference to there's an accident, they divert, and they divert that way, and it used to be just impossible to get across there before we had a four-way stop. And now it's back all the way up to 65. Pretty familiar in that area. So, we need to do something to try to keep that.
Saturday, they came in and cut down 9 trees and 5 trees.
Five.
They just blocked off at Lincoln Street and Shelby Street, and they detour Shelby to Lincoln, and Lincoln to Shelby, or whoever, that was the easiest way for them to do it. That's frustrating, sending semis and dump trucks down Shelby and Lincoln.
That's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is you will have something, any crash north of the 80-mile marker, because Shelby County doesn't have enough people on, we're gonna be running short, and we're gonna be pushing them off on 252, going right by Lynn Drive, because there's no place for them to make a U-turn on the interstate. We could try to push them out, and if you think about it, if we had to do that, just to try to protect our infrastructure, it's 2 cops on the interstate pushing them off, one at the bottom pushing them left, and another one trying to push them going back southbound and making them do a U-turn. That's our entire force. So,
Let's see if PennDOT will, they're sharing our town stuff out there right now, so maybe they'll play ball with us. They were responsive on your traffic light out there. They were responsive here. 252 on drive, so let's see if they'll continue to support us. If not, then we'll take it upon ourselves, because it's just a user sign on that. We're, all right, Sarah Beth?
Nothing tonight.
Open it up for public comment.
You forgot Julie.
Julie, I'm so sorry.
She had her head down.
She had her head down, to be fair, and she was already up there once, I thought, and I did skip right over her. You guys let me do. Julie, I'm so sorry. You were hiding under that chair. I saw you, and you got a blue shirt on, so you're blending in. Okay, let me try this again. I'll open up for public comment already. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Hello, I'm Lynn Patton, 113 East Main Cross Street. And what I wanted to bring you guys, obviously, you probably already know, the building next door to me that started falling down. I mean, that could have killed somebody if there was anybody out there. I just want to know what ordinances or what legal action to force that building owner to fix their building, or, I mean, it looks like a big eyesore now. There's all that fencing out there, and I just don't want this to be drug on and on and on. I want to know what you guys can do legally.
I believe we've already started the process to send the letter to that homeowner. I think I want to state clearly for the record here, this is nothing that you want, but I just want to make it on record. The town never owned the property at 115 East Main Cross. That property was deemed unsafe. It's a court ordered mandate to tear the building down. I think that's a misconception that the town had something to do with that. The town made the property safe. I appreciate your guys' concern because you're obviously on the other side of that building and you want to make that building safe as well. I think we've already started the process. I'm actually very confident we started the process.
Okay.
So it's just one of those things that you saw with 115 East Main Cross. It does take time. And
Right.
give that owner their due process to see if they can make it safe. But your concerns is definitely warranted. I saw that day as well. So we're moving on it, maybe the best way I
Okay.
can say that.
Because in speaking with her on the phone today, she's still just throwing blame at the town. And I explained that it's her building, so, and told her I was coming tonight to bring my
That's fine.
concerns.
And then thank you for representing that. As a business owner downtown, and again, the town, that town ownership, that never happened, but I hope that we never will. I think that, again, I think everything's moving. It's just, it's a slow roll to get there, but we are proactively working after doing and investing in the work. Very good. So,
All right, thank you.
all right, anything else?
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for attending.